And I believe this broadcast is live. Let me just have a look if all of our viewers are joining us. And just want to say hello and good morning and good evening to everyone, wherever you are. I have the fantastic, fabulous Miss X with me today, and we have quite a bit to talk about. I'm just going to see, yes, we are live. Maybe everyone can tell us where you're from in the chat boxes there and the comment boxes to your right. And I will introduce myself. My name is Alex. I'm from Reporterfy Media. And I'm here today to have an interesting, we'll try to keep it within an hour here, an interesting conversation with, we'll call her Miss X from AvenueX. And what you can do, if you're unfamiliar, my audience unfamiliar with her, in my description box below, you can just hit the subscribe button. But let's get right to it. Good evening, I guess it's where you are, right? Good evening?
Yep. Hi, good morning, where you are. Okay.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. Your audience, obviously, you have quite a bit of fans out there as well. Maybe tell my audience a little bit about you and how we kind of got together on this collaboration here.
Okay.
How we made it work.
Try to figure out how to like look at the stream on one window, and then chat on my end on another. And I have a tiny laptop, so.
Well, what we do is I'll just go through some of the people that are saying good morning to us. Someone's saying hello from Aruba. That's Debbie. We have Zed from hello from Minnesota. Fozia Mohammed from Edmonton.
Familiar names.
Somebody says, let's put this comment up on the screen. Here for AvenueX.
She shows up on my stream all the time. Every stream, pretty much.
Oh,
yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah. We have from California. Good morning, Envy, to you. Or I guess that would be good evening to you. Early evening. And Jazz from hello from New York City. I have a few people in my chat box. Caliber Wings, good morning to you. Doug, Old School Wolf Media, thank you very much, Wesley, for showing up this morning. Austin, good morning, Alex, and good morning to you. Thank you for that. And we have a few people from Toronto, Canada. I didn't even know that we had so many people from all around the world watching us, but isn't that great? So I'm here with the fantastic AvenueX, but we're going to call her Miss X. Tell us, how did this happen? How did we get to know each other? The audience is curious.
Because YouTube pushed videos to me. Basically, that's what
serious?
it is. Yeah, and I think I was watching a couple of other people's stuff. Like you collaborate with very frequently, and then one day you showed up, and then I just realized you have so many videos that are just about Chongqing, which is very unusual. Because most people, on YouTube, they make videos about Shenzhen, Shanghai, Beijing. So Chongqing literally haven't really seen. So I just got really curious. So I looked at most of your Chongqing videos. And then I decided to email you. And so this is how it happened, basically.
This is how it happened.
Because I'm from Chongqing. So,
here's the funny thing, and I just want to say this to the audience. It's almost like Miss X and I have switched, because I've gone.
From Canada,
I was in
right?
Chongqing, and she's gone to Canada, and currently staying, actually living not far from where I was actually born. And when I first got the email, and I immediately went to her channel, and I said, where is she? She's in Canada? What part of Canada? And we got to talking, and it was quite interesting. Tell me, how is, I don't know if you want to announce where you are in Canada, but how is, they know. Okay, well, tell us what part of Canada you're in, how you ended up being in this part of Canada.
In the province Manitoba, in the city Winnipeg. So it's where Winnie the Pooh comes from. The most famous thing about this city. Yeah.
So you left the city of, we'll call it, well, this is just, this is a disputed population, this city. I always get people tell me I'm either right or wrong on this. Now, depending on how you calculate Chongqing and its districts, sometimes it can be the world's largest city, I call it the world's largest unknown city. Um, from anywhere from, I would say, 30 to 35 million in that area. Some said that it's part of a megalopolis that's 100
Yeah.
million.
That, no,
So,
no. So Chongqing would be technically the municipal, like, the four cities of China. So if you calculate that, then it's about 30 million
right.
population. But if you're
Wow.
only looking at the old Chongqing, so before it became this, it had a sort of a more central kind of city that's made up with its old districts, and I think it's about 7 million and a half.
Wow.
So
Wow.
once you get out of the old Chongqing before it becomes the central government's municipal city, it was yeah. So if you get out of that area and then you calculate everybody, count them all in the big Chongqing, that's the entire municipality, which includes a lot of towns and villages, then it becomes 30 million. Yeah.
Well, to me, when I got off the plane there for the first time, now it was funny how I ended up in Chongqing. My wife said to me she doesn't want to put up the Christmas tree and have turkey this year for Christmas. A Canadian tradition, I think you've seen probably. And I
Yeah.
said, well, what do you want to do for Christmas? And she said, let's go to China on Christmas Eve. And I said, okay, where should we go? And she said, well, we've been to Shanghai, we've been to Beijing, we've been to Shenzhen and Hong Kong and all these many places. And she said, you're always mentioning this one city. And I said, that's right. Many years ago, I read on CNN about this city. And I said, I can't remember how to spell it. But so I went and I searched in Google and I searched and I said, a city about the size of population of Canada. And Chongqing came up. And I said, we're going to Chongqing. So the 24th of December, we pretty much pack our bags and we arrive on the evening of Chongqing at about 7 p.m. First time to a city of this size. And I tell you, coming in on that airplane,
Was it a
seeing
good
that.
day? Like, could you see? Like, was it cloudy?
It's funny that you say that because this is a city known as Fog City.
Yeah, yeah.
And a lot of the media plays it as pollution, but in fact, it's
No, it's
covered
just
by all these
geography.
mountains.
Yeah.
And you have two very famous rivers that collide together. Which ones are they? They're the Yangtze and the.
Yeah, so Yangtze is probably the more international name, but in China it's called Changjiang, which just means long, a very long river. Compared to Yellow is the second big river. So we have like two big river. So that's the major river. But then there's the smaller river that comes into it, which is called Jialinjiang. So we
Jialing.
have two, yeah. And their color
I
are totally different. So when they come together, you see the
yeah,
color divide.
I was I when I was booking hotels there, I decided to stay at the brand new Ascot Hotel, which sat right on the where the rivers collide together. It's a beautiful hotel. I'm not sure if you've seen it. It looks like kind of like it's rounded out like a sail. It's the tall one with the Singaporeans. It's a Singaporean
I
investment.
haven't actually been there because when they opened it, which was last year, I think end of last year or beginning of this year, can't remember. End of last year. I left before they opened, so they were still under the final bit of construction because I left in the summer. So when I was there, I left in August. It wasn't ready yet, so I haven't been there.
Well, I had the pleasure of being there. It's truly amazing. I tell you, seeing it from up that high in the air and seeing the rivers come together, the colors, how they blend. I have to tell you, it's probably one of the most exciting cities I've been to, and I've traveled to over 100 countries. I don't know how many thousands of cities I've been to, but I've been to New York and Paris and all these big cities. But Chongqing, it gave me this buzz to it, and to me, it was one of the most exciting cities in the world. And when I went there, I met some people from the tourist board and some other people from one of their local papers. I don't want to call them a newspaper, but they're kind of like a news agency, a travel. They're all in one, and I'll bring the girl on later in the show. I got a treat for everyone. I'm going to bring in Xiao from iChongqing to meet you and talk with you, and it's going to be interesting to have two ladies from Chongqing maybe speaking in a bit of their own dialect here for the audience. So let's get to it. I've got a couple of questions for you, and I think maybe
Okay.
is some of your fans out there. If anyone's in the chats today, you have a question or you want to send a contribution or a super chat, you'll also see in the top part of the screen there, we have AvenueX's Kofi QR code. If you want to, is that correct? There's a code up there?
Ko-fi Kofi doesn't like I don't know. It doesn't matter how you pronounce it, right? Because and yeah, they have the default on their website. That's basically buy a coffee. So but then like I don't know, whatever you want to call it.
So we're going to get into a couple of interesting questions. Some of them you don't have to answer,
Mm-hmm.
and I think some of them are quite interesting.
Okay. Get a fan. Okay, right.
So, all right. First question is what is the funniest thing that has happened to you recently?
Funniest thing that has happened to me recently.
Yeah.
I went out trying to throw out trash, and I almost I actually threw something I shouldn't throw into the big the waste bin because I was also on my way to mail stuff out to people, so I kind of throw the envelope into it, but it's
Right.
already it's a recycle one, so it only has cardboard boxes and it's filled up really high.
Okay.
So when that happened, I was like, okay, I was lucky enough to save it. So don't. This is not. Oh, somebody's asking about the fan. This is not that fan. It's another one.
What's this fan here? Do you know who asked the question? I'll try to highlight them. What their name was?
Jazz 23.
Okay, I'll look for Jazz. Oh, is that in? That's in. Okay, is that the question?
Yeah.
Right.
Because basically, I use a fan in my video, and they're asking, is this that fan? No, it's a different. I haven't used in video yet. It means 心如止水. It means heart is as still as water.
Okay, so I've got another question now. For the people that don't know you, can you tell my audience what your channel is about? And I think your channel is almost kind of like a distance of what you kind of are as a person too, and your passions in life. So maybe if you could share that with everyone, what your channel is about, and I guess what you like to do.
Sure. So for the people who do not know who I am, I've been running this channel for a bit over 3 years, close to 3 years and a half, and it's pretty much 99% reviews on Chinese dramas, very, very small niche, and kind of just focused on that. And it's kind of, I started it for a lot of reasons, but I continued doing it till this point because I guess I watch a lot of dramas. Otherwise, I won't be able to do that. And also just because I used to work in film and television industry, mostly making stuff, making dramas, making films. So I used to work there. So I guess I have a different perspective than a general reviewer if they do not work in the industry or they have no idea how it works. And also just because I used to work in Chinese drama industry, so it's there are many people who do reviews like this in China, but they're doing it in Chinese, and so I don't really see anyone doing it sort of more oriented towards international audiences who do not speak Chinese.
Right.
And most of those really popular drama reviewers of Chinese dramas in China, they would also upload their videos on YouTube, but then it's all in Chinese. So it's kind of like you have to know the language to watch their videos. So I was like, okay, so let me try to do the communicator's job of explaining things in English.
So bringing it out in communicating on what these Chinese dramas are about. Now, I was watching a few years back a show by National Geographic. It was called China from Above. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this program, but they focused in on a lot of the infrastructure projects being done in China.
Hmm.
And while I was at the end of the show, they said, you know, America has Hollywood and China has Chinawood. Are you familiar with that term? Is that a familiar term in China, Chinawood, like
No.
the amount of film production there,
Well, we
or?
have a lot of drama making like going on every year, that's for sure. The
Mm-hmm.
number is a bit insane. I think it started to drop at the second half of 2018 due to a lot
Right.
of reasons. But there was a really crazy period, I think, before 14 to 16, even like a little bit into 2017. Those couple
Right.
of years were crazy in basically TV series making. But
Now,
yeah, a lot of
are
those
most
TV series are not for TV. They're actually for web exclusive.
right? Right.
Yeah.
So is it are a lot of these productions are mostly, I would say, all of them
Mhm.
filmed in China, hundred
Oh yeah,
percent,
like
or
99.9%. Unless that like it includes a part of the plot that needs to happen somewhere else in the world. Otherwise,
right?
it's mostly in China, and actually in a very couple few small places, especially if it's a costume period drama,
Mm-hmm.
of like any ancient type of like dynasty setting. Then there's one really place in China that pretty much every production goes to.
Okay, so another question then: if they're produced now, can these people see these in? You said online,
Mhm.
but do many of these also make the theaters in China as well, like the cinemas, or is that a lot of American movies with subtitles?
No. So cinema, films,
Mm-hmm.
and TV
Mm-hmm.
series are two different things.
Right.
So the TV dramas don't go into cinemas, and cinemas are
Okay.
just like filmmaking or going to film. Well, China's films cinemas have been closed since beginning of this year, and
Right.
they're opening. Some of them are opening this month on the
Okay.
20th. I think they just announced they're gonna start to open theaters that are in low risk areas, so
Mm-hmm.
the places that haven't really had many cases, and so they're gonna start to reopen it. So from January 2020, really 21st,
Mm-hmm.
around that time, till this year, exact 6 months, about no theaters in China was running,
Nothing.
nothing.
Well, that kind of actually gives an opportunity for these dramas to get a lot of exposure,
Yeah,
because
in a way, it is. Yeah.
I've been experiencing that. Like, of course, you're familiar with it. We have Netflix and we have other various, Amazon Prime
Hmm.
that do these dramas as well, these TV dramas. I
Yeah.
mean, one of the most popular, I guess, I don't even want to call it a drama, but we'll call it, a
TV series.
multi-series,
Yeah,
is
series.
Breaking Bad, stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that, and
It's well
that
known in China too. Yeah.
and that really opened up the understanding, because when people first started watching Netflix,
Mm.
actually it was a delivery service where you would
Yeah,
get
it was
CD.
like I've experienced similar things, but it's not like I was in the UK back then
All
many years
right,
ago, and they had the similar service, like monthly subscription. You mail
right,
the DVD literally.
right, and they still do have that service. It's still
Hmm.
it's still going, but not very common. So people would kind of exchange movies, and people would say, we'll call them sitcoms and stuff like Friends, and that was always for television.
Hmm.
And what we've seen a really big evolution in media here, in, I would
Yeah.
say, an explosion in probably the last about 5 or 6 years, where a lot of people are traveling worldwide. They
Hmm.
found it hard to find content from
Hmm.
a local cable company in their own language, and Netflix started to expand, and the catalog started to expand.
Yeah.
And what was good about that is old series that used to be popular. I know there's a Canadian one. I
Yeah, they
don't know
start
if
to
I
show
really.
up again, right? Like in the
Yeah,
like.
and they got a second life. They became funded again. I'll give you an example, and this is guys and audience, don't go out and watch this, but this is a very Canadian one. One is called The Trailer Park Boys. It was filmed in Canada, and it's more of it's more of a comedy, and it's about a bunch of people that live in trailer parks, and it's interesting. It was had about 7 seasons, and then it went off the air. I think it was Showtime or something funded the production, and Netflix picked it up, and they did 5 more seasons. And that's the beautiful thing about being able to see old series.
Mhm.
Same with music. Spotify now goes in and actually funds old artists to get back into the studio to make new tracks because they can track this information. Same with Netflix. They can see what production is maybe people are searching for, and they'll go
Mhm.
back and say, hey, 20 million people want season 9 of you, but it doesn't exist. So when you're going to look for these dramas, how can people, that aren't very familiar with, Chinese drama, where do we start? Where do we start to look for this?
Well, if you're like you've never watched it, some of
Mm-hmm.
them are on Netflix as well. The Netflix has bought, I think, quite some Chinese couple number Chinese dramas since pretty much since 2017.
Okay.
But it's getting like they're getting more shows now. Then China's major web platforms are starting to create their international version.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I think the Tencent and iQIYI have already started creating the international version that has the shows on there. Not all the shows as they would have it in China, but then with English subtitles. And then you
Mm-hmm.
also have companies that are like probably US based or other country based that are exclusively Asian drama focused. So that would include Chinese dramas as well. Yeah, my audience would know.
Yeah, I
There's a
see your
very
audience. Your
very
audience is
common
coming in here.
website people would go for is like Viki. So that's
How do we spell that? How is that?
VIKI.
VIKI.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it has like I think Korean dramas mostly,
Right.
like the highest number of them. But they do also include some of the popular Chinese ones that are ongoing. There used
Mm-hmm.
to be another site that's dead now, but if you really want to find Chinese dramas, Netflix can be a place, and with Viki can be a place that you can go straight to. And also some of the dramas are actually on YouTube. So you can
Um,
just search them on YouTube, and then they're uploaded by the official copyright owner of those shows. But then the problem with that is most of them do not have uh, com- completed subtitles, or like the subtitle quality is bad. But there are actually quite a lot of places to go.
where somebody's recommending Rise of the Phoenixes is great on Netflix. Are you
Yeah,
familiar with that?
yeah, I am. I am. I think it's on Netflix. I'm pretty sure it is.
And then Erica Luce, Tencent has a YouTube channel as well.
Yeah. So the big three Chinese platforms are Tencent, iQIYI, and Youku. And then there's a fourth one, a little bit different, but it's called Mango TV. So the four platforms kind of air all the dramas that you can find in China, including the ones that go on satellite TV. So for me, I would just watch from the Chinese sites. But
Right.
for international audiences, they would have to find another way, like either on YouTube with subtitles on Viki or on the international version
Mm-hmm.
of these websites. But then it wouldn't always have all the shows, and then it wouldn't always work in all regions in the world because of copyright issues. So
Mm-hmm.
it's very complicated. But if you really want to find the show, you can.
So we have a couple of suggestions here. Again, the Viki, the Netflix. If you can see, I've just highlighted the comment there on the screen. We TV as well, I guess.
Yeah, so WeTV and IQ.com is the iQIYI's international version. So
Mango TV. Does that sound familiar?
Mango TV, I think a lot of people know it's MGTV, but that's
Okay.
the Chinese version. They also have international app, I think. So they all kind of have like, apart from Youku, I think they all have international app.
Peter says, "Love your show. Perfect subject about the availability of dramas." Um, Now, since you're spending some time in Canada, I know
Mm-hmm.
that you watch a lot of Chinese dramas, and you're,
Mm-hmm.
we'll call you the expert at it. Is there any Canadian or I guess North American shows that you do watch, or
Well, not like in well, I still have a couple, but like if you want to count all the historical ones, the ones I've watched, I can tell you, I think the first show I watched, I was many years ago. I was in China. I was in middle school,
Right.
and it's the Lois and Clark. It actually got bought by China's TV station and got
Oh, really?
dubbed in Chinese, and
Really?
it
The whole.
aired on China's satellite TV. Yeah, yeah, and the
Oh,
entire, I
wow.
think that all the seasons, or maybe the season 1 or 2, I can't remember. But that was like I was in middle school, so it's a long. Probably one of my. Actually, there were even older ones, and I can tell you, Knight Rider. Do you know Knight Rider?
Of are we talking Mr. Hasselhoff
Yes,
or
yes,
no?
yes, yes, yes.
David
I
David
was in
Hassel.
primary school, and it was actually imported in China and then dubbed in Chinese and put on, I think, like either CCTV or something like the international. I can't remember which television station, but yeah, you can see a lot of those very famous shows in China many years ago. So it's
So
actually
like,
I've seen U.S. shows like when I was like 8 years old.
how about the A Team, or maybe if you haven't heard of the A Team, we have Baywatch. Wouldn't have been dubbed, would it?
Baywatch, I know, and I
Yeah.
think it has been dubbed as well.
Okay.
I think it's
Because
yeah. Those like people just thought like it wouldn't happen. No, it actually happened. Like there were many U.S. shows that was like imported into China.
Erica says, Knight Rider, you're bringing back memories. So am I. I'm just remembering this
I
black
love that
Trans Am
car. Oh my
with the
god, that
with the
AI
back
is
and
so
forth light
cool.
that went
Oh
up
yeah,
front.
and it's so understanding. It's like better than any human you could possibly hope for. Like it's the best friend you
Oh,
could have. It's such a good car.
it's amazing because he's had quite the career. I mean,
Mm.
Hasselhoff is amazing. Wow, we've got somebody here. Hello from
Oh,
Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Well, thank you,
so,
Blueberry. Do you know? Are you? Some of these names look familiar to you?
hmm
Oh, and this one here, I've got to give DB has the greatest ones. MacGyver. Do you remember MacGyver?
no, no idea.
MacGyver is actually a show about a guy who, for example, you could
Uh-huh.
put MacGyver in the middle of Chongqing,
Uh-huh.
and he would need to be able to build a 1957 Chevy, and the car would be broken, but he would find every type of pieces to put a car together.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind
Oh,
of like
okay.
a Canadian term where everybody says just MacGyver it. It means, just kind of repair it the
Cool.
best that you can. So very interesting. The audience is right into tune. Okay, so I've got a couple more questions, just a little bit off the topic of
Drama.
the drama.
Mm-hmm.
So some people have asked me, okay, what do you have for breakfast in Canada? What's a breakfast time for you? Is it a coffee, or what kind of stuff do you have for breakfast?
For breakfast, more of a coffee person.
Okay.
Yeah, coffee and mostly eggs. Very
Okay.
boring. Yeah.
What's your favorite drink?
Um, favorite drink.
Yeah,
Sparkling water of any kind.
sparkling water.
Mm.
Okay, more questions. On a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you?
I wouldn't go for the word happy because happy is overused and it's
Okay,
very unclearly defined. Like
right?
so people are like, be happy. Like, what do you mean exactly? Like, what is? I think
Oh,
it gets some. I'd say more. I'd love to be either at
right.
peace
Okay.
or feeling excited.
Okay,
I think
good.
it's more specific that way. Happy is so vague.
I tend to agree with you on that. Okay, let's do another couple questions here. What is one item you're most nostalgic about in China? Kind of, what is one thing that I guess you always maybe would take with you? Go ahead.
快递, okay? 快递.
Tell me this.
It's 快递. It's the courier service. Everything can be delivered to you so fast.
For all some of the viewers out there, being in Asia here, I'm currently in Thailand due to the border being closed in China. Um, my plan, I wasn't even planning to be here right now. My goal was to be in the China to do a multi-city series for my channel, and I left Chongqing in about January, just
Just
probably
before, right? Before the
just
thing
before.
hit. Because you were
Uh,
still like in your video walking around and eating stuff with people
oh
and
yes,
singing, right?
yeah.
Like,
It's
so I was like, and I was like, okay, that's like right before things went south.
Yeah, it was, a magical time to be there. Now that I look back at things, but my goal was to come back here, change the luggage, and get back on the road and head back into China because I have a 10-year visa now for China, and I really enjoyed filming that series. So the good news is we're getting closer to returning back. There's other ways, business ways of returning to China, and we feel that we're getting close. So during this time, I'm going to be putting out another one of my series from the Maldives here in I think the next day or two. My trailer is going to come out for that, and that's been in production. We'll call it production for about 2 months. When we were in the Maldives, we went to two types of resorts, one a luxury resort and one a budgeted resort, and we wanted to compare them together. And we had about 60 to 70 hours of video. It's taken us 2 months to produce and edit all these. So that's going to keep my audience really well fed while I'm getting back to China. So we'll continue on with a couple of these questions here. If you could change the world, what would you do first?
If I could change the world,
Yeah.
um, I would. Okay, I do not want the languages to disappear, but I want to have a way that everyone naturally understands what other people are talking perfectly as if they understand their mother tongue.
Right.
That would be so much better, the world, immediately after that happens. Needs a miracle for that to happen.
One of my viewers said, "Bring us back to the '80s." Okay.
Well, I would not have really any say in that because my age.
What was the last gift that you bought someone? This is another question.
Oh, I can't quite remember. I think I bought something for somebody, but it's like free, like a subscription
Okay.
online, so I give them for free. That's like
Now you
the
don't
last
have to
one.
answer all these questions, but I'm gonna
Sure.
go through a couple more of them. I just find them interesting.
Yeah.
Um, what are your parents most proud of you for?
Well, I have to ask them. I'm not sure.
Okay. Right. If you could be an animal, which animal would you be?
Cool. Either something that lives in the water or something that can fly, because that would be very different from land animal. I want to try that.
And are you a morning or night person?
Neither. Normal.
Okay.
Like I don't really want to get up at 5 a.m.
And how lucky are you as a person? Do you have luck? Do you
I
have
would say
good luck?
very lucky. I would say very lucky. Like statistically, honestly,
Okay.
if I'm still here and living this life, I am already like luckier than like 95% of the human beings on this planet.
So the audience is probably quite curious, at least my audience as well is curious, is what brings a lady like you from China to Canada?
Yeah,
And
I've
it's like,
recently just answered that in
oh,
in a
did you?
Q&A video. Yeah, it's
Right.
literally like it literally came out on Tuesday this week. So it's on my channel. I think it's the first couple of questions. I have them
Okay.
all time coded and put in the description box. You can head over there, click, and you'll see my answer.
Now, I mean, you were traveling quite a bit back between the countries. You were saying before, going from Canada to China. When you arrive in China, how is it? What's your feeling when you've been away from the country for a while and you get back to China? Is it a feeling of comfort or is it you always see new things when you get back there? I mean,
Yeah, new
how
things
do you
keep
feel?
like every time I go back, something changes.
Mm-hmm.
Every time, and it's kind of like, yeah, like when you're in China, you obviously don't notice it that
Mm-hmm.
frequently, but literally, like I think where my parents live, when I
Mm-hmm.
go back, within like last couple of years, they've been building a monorail station right across the street. So
Mm.
it has finally opened last year, I think. So that entire landscape across the street has been changing drastically over the last 2 or 3 years. So every time you go back, it's like they've just built that wall and they've just taken out all the trees. They've just now planted a new whatever park in that, and then now they've moved that station to that position. Now when you go out, don't go out that way and go out this way because they haven't moved that to there. I'm like, okay, okay. So it's always changing.
Do you find that, living in Canada during this difficult time,
Mm-hmm.
during this pandemic? I mean, it's quite a bit of stress for the world. Everybody
Yeah.
kind of is on edge and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, in the part of Canada where you are, is everybody still quite welcoming and quite courteous, or have you
Yeah, I think
experienced?
so. Because I think Winnipeg didn't get it really bad, like compared to other places. We're pretty lucky in the
Mm-hmm.
numbers and stuff. So, uh, and also just because it's a very sparsely populated city, right?
Right.
So it's not like Toronto downtown. You like you literally don't come across that many people unless you go out every day and walk around all the time. So
Was Canada quite welcoming to you?
yeah, because I've
Okay,
been here for like what 8 years. So
8 years.
so yeah, yeah, it's been a while. I think back in the days when I was in school, uh, I everyone was really nice, like the profs and students, but also there are international students as well, and we even have like international profs. So so like it's a big mixture of people from everywhere. And I consider myself really lucky. The fact that I went through the school during,
Mm-hmm.
like a couple of years ago when everything was like pretty okay. I can't imagine what it's like for all the international students who got here like last year, right, or
Mm.
this year. Like, what do we get ourselves into? Because I think all the classes are canceled, like face-to-face classes are canceled from U of M, Manitoba, University of Manitoba, and the entire fall semester that's going to start in September. I think everything is going to be done online. I honestly don't know how that works because for certain courses it just doesn't work. Like
Mm.
like for those, for example, architecture school, how does that work? Like you need to draw stuff and do like models, right? You CNC stuff and laser cut and
Mm-hmm.
model building. Like how do you get it like not showing up? I don't know how that works. It's quite interesting.
I have a few questions here. So, and my viewers, one of my viewers says, "Is it an accent that she has, or is that just she
Accent?
sounds so intelligent? You sound so intelligent." So it's a compliment.
Illusion.
Another one from Ryan here. Can you ask Miss X what her favorite Chinese dramas are?
Oh, dangerous. I recently just answered that in my Q&A as well. I said I don't have one. I have too many. Like if you know how many dramas I watch every year, once you have that big number in your pool, it's just impossible to pick a favorite because I've seen too many, too
Too
many,
many.
too many, like unhealthy amount of dramas.
Uh,
And Chinese dramas
just
are
want to say
long, so super long.
just want to say thank you to Francisco Rivera for your super chat. Hope you make it to China. Of course, I'll make it to China. Um, Guelo 60 would have been good for this conversation. Of course, Guelo would be, if we didn't talk so much every day, I would have brought him in. But this is my special treat today to be here with Miss X from AvenueX. What a fantastic channel that you have. And you have a legion, we call it a legion of fans. Miss X is the best. Um, uh, here we go. Uh, there you go.
Mel-
Is that
what? Melancholic.
melancholic?
Oh,
There, interesting.
interesting.
That's
That's a
one of my
good
viewers.
word, though. Melancholy is a good word in English.
DB says 10 Miles of Peach Blossoms is right up there for me as an all-time favorite as
Yeah, a
well.
lot of people love that because it's. I think it's one of the first Chinese dramas in recent years that got so big internationally. It started. It aired in during Chinese Spring Festival 2017, and so and then it blew up in China, but then internationally it kind of got really like I think it would be one of the biggest really in recent years. So starting from that point on, more Chinese drama started to get noticed. So I understand it's a milestone kind of drama.
Um, Somebody said, yes, I am surprised by Miss X every once in a while. Seriously, how much does she know? Another one here is Bad Kids is the best drama so far. Avenue X confirmed. Haha.
Yeah, 2020, 10, 2020. Yeah.
So if
I would highly recommend you go check out that drama. It's only 12 episodes. And it's
so
actually
if I'm
on iQ's international app. So you can watch it with English subtitle for free, I think.
so if I'm let's say after the show I want to go find Bad Kids, I'm going where?
So you go to internationally, you go to
IQ,
iq.com. Yeah.
IQ.com. Okay.
It's literally iQ's international version and just search the bad kids.
All right. Is this true?
What?
Wait till you hear Miss X sing.
I am not such a good singer. I have to admit. I'm trying to get better. I need practice. That's it.
So if we ever meet up, I can take you for 5 hours of KTV, and you would join.
I don't think I can do that. I'm not so well trained.
All right. So somebody asked me if you watch Chinese dramas to learn Chinese better.
Who? Me?
So yeah,
Yeah.
somebody
I
asked
would
me
just
that
watch
question.
to pick out their mistakes, which is a very fun thing to do.
I have a viewer named Mogman. Sorry, Alex, I'm trying to make you laugh during your interview. You have done that, sir. He's been sending some rather interesting messages into my chat form, and I adore him for that. Thank you. Here's another one from Chinese dramas do comedy quite well. Um,
Well, there are too
here,
many, so some are bound to be good. It's just like a statistic game, right? Like if you have like, I think 2017, China made over 30,000 episodes of dramas
really?
that whole year.
Wow. So do you think this market do you think this market is now matured and there's enough or there's too much out there for people to consume? Like I know when we're watching, and I don't want to continue to, to compare it, but when we look on our Netflix catalogs now,
Yeah, a lot
we're
of stuff.
starting to see a shift away from movies, more
Yeah,
into series.
yeah.
Do you think the market is saturated or?
It's a different question. I think to me, because I do drama reviews, so I look at everything. So I feel there are just too many for me to watch because there are. But honestly, because China is so big and the population number is so big, and then demographics is very complicated, so a drama doesn't need to make everybody happy. It just needs to make its targeted audience happy, and it will get the money it wants. So if it's totally designed for say teenager girls,
Mhm.
right? It literally can just have a drama, and the parents will not know, the teachers will not know, and anybody outside of that demographic would not know, but these people would know, and their interest in that is enough to make it make money. So in China, the thing is there are many dramas, many crappy dramas, but because it targets to so many different groups of people, everybody, like if you're not like just totally super bad, if it's like if there's something worth talking about or discussing about or about a particular drama, it can still like work. So and also quality and popularity don't necessarily always equal each other. So
I want you to see an interesting quote from
Mm-hmm.
one of my viewers. It's
Mm-hmm.
on the screen there now.
Mm-hmm.
And I've used this in one of my videos, one of my last videos I did on Chongqing.
Mm-hmm.
I managed to compile a lot of aerial footage, which is incredibly hard to get in China with drones and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And his name is Ken. He said, I heard that China is a shining gem like a diamond sparkling for all the world to admire. What do you think of that statement?
Who said that? Or
It's
like,
one of
is it
it's
in Chinese and got translated or something?
no, it's one of my subscribers, and he's basically saying that uh, the country, a lot of Westerners
Mm-hmm.
don't travel to China. Let's
Yeah, yeah.
let's even
It's
though
not like the
it's
easiest thing to do.
right. And when you see some of these cities, when you see, and the reason why we're on the topic of Chongqing is, of course, I've put a pile of videos out on YouTube about it, and you're from
Yeah,
Chongqing.
yeah.
But when you see Chongqing as from my eyes, as a Westerner's eyes,
Mm-hmm.
and I agree with Ken here. It's like a diamond. These cities are electric. To
Mm-hmm.
to go to other cities around the world, they could do so much more. I mean, London's a beautiful city.
Mm-hmm.
London can do much more to even make it look more amazing. But
Mm-hmm.
why is it that China, they light all their cities up at night? And for my viewers that don't understand what I'm talking about, is
Yeah,
literally thousands of buildings at
yeah.
night, they turn on LEDs at about 6 p.m. and we're talking can you imagine an entire city of 30 some million lit up?
Yeah. Well, it's, I don't think it's like always been like that. I would say it started in the 90s, so late 90s, when it started to become a thing for different cities in China to do this, what they called 光彩工程. Anyone from China would understand what I'm saying.
Can
It's
you
a
tell
very
us what that
old
means?
thing. 光彩. 光彩 just means the light and glow, right? And the project. And different cities did it at different times, but they pretty much started in the 90s. And ever since then, and it started to become a thing. And Chongqing did it in the 90s, I'm pretty sure, because my father kind of is part of that. So there was a period of my life when in the 90s where I hardly see him at all,
Okay.
because he's always in meetings till late night, trying to figure out how to get this thing down, like onto the buildings and what are the regulations, the zonings. I mean, it's insane. So starting from then, they started to do this, and it doesn't work the same in, I think, visually for different cities. For Chongqing, it's particularly good. But if you're in a flat city like Beijing or Shanghai, it's lesser pronounced just because of the geography. That would make the light like the way it looks like. So Chongqing is super, super well suited for doing that building thing. But yeah, in general these days, we just do that. And also I think because most of the Chinese buildings are not like, if you're, say, London, right? London has so many old architectures, like so many old buildings that have been there for a long time, and you can't necessarily think about, I don't know, like British Museum and just put lights all around it.
Right.
That wouldn't really work in that way. But in China, because most cities are still being built, relatively young, and they have those concrete buildings, skyscrapers, so it's just like much more easier to add that much light on it.
Being in Canada, is there something that you miss about China currently right now?
Like I said, fast delivery and food.
Okay, so if you were going to order something and you wanted it at your
It's a pain
house
in
tomorrow,
Canada, probably the worst place in the world, like in developed world.
but you
really.
got to understand, Canada is huge. Okay,
Yes,
from one
and
end to
small
the other,
population, so it's impossible to make that service cheap and fast. I understand. It's
it
physically
takes.
impossible.
I think if you get into a car and you drive from, we'll call it New Brunswick to Vancouver, it's going to take you about 4 days. Okay.
Well, you're a
And we
fast driver. Only 4 days. You don't
The other
sleep?
thing, well, you know me. I mean, I'm up all the time. I could drive a good I could drive a good 20 hours straight. In Canada, the only time they put turns in the road is to keep you awake. That's the only reason. Um, okay, so I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and you don't have to answer them. But
Mhm,
when you're out with friends, um, and you're trying to describe China to them,
mhm.
maybe some people that haven't been to China before, have there been any people that have a usual stereotype of China still to this day in 2020 with the internet where we can do a lot of research on these cities? Do you find that there are still people out there that still might have a vision of China that is not necessarily correct?
I believe there would be many people like that, but the thing is, like even back in the days when I work here, like in a company with other Canadians, we don't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily always talk about China. You know, like
Right.
we mostly just talk about our work, and very occasionally talk about other stuff. So you need to basically get the topic, you know, like talk about that somehow. You know, people would start to mention, and then you will know what they think or what their ideas about it are. So it's not like every person you meet, the first question you ask them is, "What do you think about China?" So you know, so I don't really know what everyone thinks. But like back in the days when I was in school, when basically every day you go there and you meet so many other schoolmates and profs, some of them are really nice and actually curious, and some of them actually know it really well because in my department I've got a prof who worked in Hong Kong for years. I've got someone who designed a project in Shanghai,
Mm.
so they know like the botanic garden of Shanghai is designed by
Mm.
my German prof. So they know it really well, and so I don't even need to really, you know, like explain things. They immediately know what I mean when I mention that.
So if you know, since I like Chongqing so much,
Mm-hmm.
and it's definitely the first city I'm heading back to,
Mm-hmm.
and we're gonna bring a girl on from Chongqing here in about a minute or two.
Mm-hmm.
Before I bring Xiao on,
Okay.
tell me secretly,
Okay.
what is your favorite city in China that I maybe is not well known? Maybe I should go and discover it and make a bunch of videos about it and tell the world about it. What would you? I don't. I'm not holding you to one. Maybe two or
Mm-hmm.
three cities. Is there some that you think I should check out?
the, well, my city you already know, so I don't need to mention that. The big ones you already been there.
Mm-hmm.
There are cities that might be difficult to get to just because of
Yep.
for example, when I was little, I traveled to a lot of places that I think they're fascinating, but
Mm-hmm.
there may be just like realistic difficulties of getting there
Okay.
for just for anyone, even like for like especially for foreigners. For example, Xinjiang is really beautiful,
Okay.
but you know it's like not the easiest place to to be in. And Tibet is really beautiful too, but
Okay.
I haven't been there. Honestly, I haven't been because every time I try to go there, something happens that makes it impossible, and I'm
Okay.
always a little bit worried about because of the high altitude. Some people have really bad reactions
Yes.
to it,
Yeah, I've
so
been watching that.
I'm a
That is a
little bit
concern.
like I need to go with friends who know what is going on. I have a friend who has a lot of connections. She's been there since she was a kid every year
Mm-hmm.
in summer. She knows it really well. So every time I try to like travel with her, something happens. It just makes it impossible to do. So I still haven't been there. I really want to.
And is there something I should try when I go back to China that
Hmm.
maybe I have tried the delicacy of hot pot. I've definitely done that, and I'm going to continue
Yeah.
to try more.
In
But
Chongqing,
while
you
you're
should
thinking about
climb
that, just
mountains. You should go and climb mountains. Chongqing has a couple of nice places.
oh,
Uh,
it's beautiful architecture and beautiful mountain range. I mean, what an amazing part of China. Really, truly, it is a jewel.
there's a
Um,
huge like natural like hole like you should go and visit. It's in
Ah,
Wulong,
yes, the
where
the
they
Barretts
filmed the
just did that. Heaven,
Transformer
is it called Heavenly something? Heavenly
Chongqing, yeah, heavenly pit or heavenly. It's
Heavenly
just
Pit?
huge, natural,
Yeah,
naturally. Yeah,
we'll maybe get
it's
Chow
in
to talk
Chongqing.
about that. She took the Barretts there.
Oh, cool.
Francisco Rivera, thank you for asking. As you know, I have the headphones in this year, but not this year. I'm going to be getting some pretty heavy duty major surgery on my ear coming up this week.
Good
If you
luck.
want to see what my ear looks like, Francisco, from inside, ask Kurt. He's got all the gory pictures of that.
Ooh, oh my god.
uh, so everybody watching, if you guys could get your questions ready
Oh yeah,
for
Xi'an is great. I forgot to mention. Somebody said that. Rain,
oh,
Jiang. Xi'an, Xi'an,
Xi'an,
Xi'an, Xi'an.
this one here,
So
this
it's
one
the
or
ancient
this one,
capital of Tang Dynasty and many
this one
other
here,
dynasties. Rain,
or
Jiang. The one,
this
two
this
about.
one.
Yes, yes, you have to go there too. Xi'an
Okay,
is amazing.
everybody's told me this.
Terracotta soldiers and the
Everybody's
Qing
told me this.
Empress Qing. Yeah.
And what we are also trying to do is, when I get back into China, that we're trying to get about 3 or 4 of us vloggers together to meet in the Hubei province and
Mm.
go to
Wuhan.
Wuhan, and we're
Wuhan
going to
is
definitely
a
try
great
to do
city
that.
too. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to bring in Xiao from iChongqing, and for the viewers that aren't aware of her, she'll tell you all about it. I'm going to let you ladies talk, and I'm going to be silent for a bit here. Xiao,
Hi.
welcome to the program.
Hello,
I'm
thank
going to
you.
leave. I'm going to let you ladies chat for a bit, and I will keep quiet. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Okay. So you've been. I hope this is working. Oh, yeah. So you've been watching this for a while. Do you have anything? Because you've been watching it so.
First I would just introduce myself. Yeah, like I'm
Sure.
Xiao, and I'm from Miss X's hometown, Chongqing. Yeah, and I've been on like the Alex's channel, like the shows a couple of times. Some of Alex's audience may already know me, I think, and it's quite new for Miss X channel. Yeah. So I'm working in Chongqing, and I'm working as a journalist, and for platform called iChongqing. Yeah, it's we have our channel on YouTube also. We are doing like the tourism information and like the news about Chongqing city in English. The goal is that we want more people, abroad, to know more about the interesting city where I live and Miss X's hometown. Like Alex also travel here, so that's our goal. And if you've got time, can check out our channel. There's plenty of interesting videos about travel, about very beautiful places around Chongqing, like exciting trips. Yeah, like that. So I just watched like a while from the very beginning. To be honest, I really love like Miss X's idea about set up the channel to tell about the Chinese dramas, and it's so up to date. I watched like the many of Miss X's videos, and I have to say these Chinese dramas are exactly what we are watching recently, and what my friends are just normally watching every day. And it's that is true. There are many Chinese language channels already do the similar things like Miss X did, but really this is first time I saw like you did it in English and you have so many fans. They are also interested in that. So I was like feel surprised. I want to know more about that. Like I like to watch these ancient historical Chinese dramas. Really, it's like time travel, or whatever, like that kind of dynasty background. But I'm really not sure. First, I want to ask, like, how about your foreign audience? How about your audience like about them? Are these dramas like popular in China? Can really get like popular abroad?
Yeah, I think the most popular ones in China usually are very also popular internationally. But I think international wise, it's more, I would say, web drama. So 网剧, the stuff that goes on web probably gets because certain dramas when it goes on satellite TV in China, they're kind of more oriented towards a different demographic, like older people, parents' generation, grandparents' generation, the aunts who holds the remote control at home, all those people. So I think internationally, because a lot of people do not really have like full access to this type of drama, if they don't get subtitled or bought by international companies, they don't see that. They just see the more young audience oriented dramas younger, like period dramas, fantasy dramas, starred by Liu Liang, right? Those popular actors, actresses.
Yeah, like
this type of drama just naturally have more of a platform for international audiences because they can access it easier. It gets bought by other companies and subtitled easier. So yeah, but like say for example, there's certain older or more like older generation dramas that are would be relatively unknown to international audiences. But it's just just only this really. Other things like for example, 2017, right? 三生三世十里桃花, right? Was super popular. So it's the same thing internationally. It's still, I think, till today, one of the most popular Chinese dramas internationally.
The reason is about the subtitles and the way access to it, right? It's sometimes the content does not determine. It's like the access to it.
You have easier access. You definitely will watch more of that. But then also, I think for international audiences, it's very natural that they would look for stuff that are more unusual. Not something like you see in the U.S. or the U.K. or any other Korean dramas, whatever. You would want to look at something that's unique to China, that's like you can't find anywhere else, which is I think period drama, period fantasy drama, 武侠, 仙侠, that type of stuff usually have a bigger sort of like audience compared to other genres of Chinese dramas internationally. Because it's very unique. You don't find it anywhere else. That's the thing.
I see. So, like, because in the popular Chinese dramas, like among like people like me or like many of my friends, like you said, 仙侠, like the like time travel or like a custom, like historical background like this, right? It's like really popular. Do you think like can some like a foreign audience can really get the idea also because it's so different, like it has culture and background very distinguished from their culture, I think.
Do
you think like that?
I think that naturally makes people more interested in it, and also just because usually these type of dramas have a more other appealing side of them, because for example costume, makeup, sets, that type of stuff, and fighting scenes, CGIs, crazy magic, exploding light coming from your hands, and then reincarnation and magic, right? So it's type of stuff that you don't really see in, say, in the U.S. dramas or other major Western country dramas. So it is just something that Chinese dramas like love to do, and has many dramas in that genre. So I think people pick it like Chinese dramas, and especially this genre.
I see. And also, like in Chongqing, right? Chongqing recently has become very also not only just like tourist place, like very hot one in China, but also
drama film,
Yes, drama film place. There are so many good, like a couple of very good films are already like filmed here, right? So how do you see the potential of the city? Like how do they, will make use of it?
It actually has been like this for a long time. It just get noticed more now. I mean, back in 2007. When I was working on the film, that the director picked Chongqing because he's from Chongqing, but also because just only the like Chongqing city's visual would work best for his dramas. So literally from I say mid 2000s, there have been many filmmakers who love to film stuff in Chongqing. Also, I can tell you that because crew members move from production to production, so if they film this drama in one city, they may film next drama or next film in a totally different place. And from the people I've met, they all absolutely love filming stuff in Chongqing because the food is so much better. Like, the food is food. Yeah, so like they're from all over China, right? Like for example, the lighting person, the makeup person, the costume person, whoever is working on what, and so when they're on their day off, that they go out and then go whatever to restaurant and eat, and they would just say every small places we go to, no matter how tiny on the street, back lane, whatever, it's just so good. Food is so good. We just want to stay here. We don't want to go. So
the food is good. They will gain some weight, right?
Yeah. But also for film's sake, just because if you film Chongqing on camera, right, it looks very layered. It visually is very rich.
Yes, I think there's so many tires of the city, right? Make like the image also kind of unique taste, I think. So I want to ask if like you can recommend a movie or a movie. Let's see, we can mostly shoot in Chongqing. I think like it's like the movie things. Like which one you will think is you like the best and would like to recommend, like the audience can watch.
Oh,
Shooting here.
tough question.
I
I know a film that got controversy because of plagiarism stuff that people accuse it of, but I still enjoyed it. It's filmed in Chongqing last year's. The latest one of the latest one last year's Yang Qianxi's and Zhou Dongyi.
Better You, yeah, Better You.
少年的你, right?
Yes.
So
就是少年的你, yes.
Yeah. So like it has like that type of problems but that's the original writers thing, right? Like it has nothing to do with the crew. I wouldn't really, but that film is pretty much, I think 99%. Oops, I'm just gonna that is my ringtone. Do you know the song? Can you recognize what it is? It is called 神经病之歌. It literally means a loony song or a psycho song. So I'm just gonna
use that one.
Yeah. So I have to call back. I have no idea who called because I don't recognize the number. Anyway, yeah. So that film looks like, if you want to look at Chongqing's landscape, it's a good film.
Yeah, there are a couple of Chongqing movies shooted in Chongqing that's very good. Have a very high like office box in China. So one is like the Better You is the most recent one, right? And there is one like Chongqing Hot Pot, and as well as like I Belonged to You and like Crazy Storm. Like these are really very good movies that have very good performance all around China. Like audience already like have test that for you. It's very good to watch, and there's some comedy inside. You know, many of the movies have some comedy elements in that. It's really like exquisite like that.
Oh, somebody called Xiaobi Jian. Yeah, I just saw a comment. That's the music she likes to use. It's my, yeah. So I should go and like compile a list of stuff that's filmed in Chongqing for people to watch. Yeah, that should be one of the things I do. I agree. There are many films filmed, but it's very hard to remember them right now.
Yeah,
and
right
also
now.
There's the problem with the title, because I have to think about the Chinese title and I have no idea what the English translation is, because usually it's a totally different thing.
Yeah, that's what I want to ask again. You know, like still it's about like the historical and ancient, you know, like this kind of topic dramas, that the Chinese title usually is combined with some, you know, like the culture thing, right? Like
it's very weird the way they translate stuff. Yeah, I actually made a video on my channel, I think, about the funny things happened with translation. I did a video, I think, when was that? A while ago. You can go on my page and find it. It's just like some of the translations are really good, and then some are just like totally doesn't make sense at all.
Yeah. So that also will affect the kind of like popularity if it goes abroad, right? Like that. Oh, it comes.
I have no idea.
SMS or the like phone thing.
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
I mean, like, is that your like you received your text message, or is somebody calling you? You have that
calling me, and I have no idea who they are. It's weird.
Alex, back?
Yeah, it's not me calling you.
No.
So don't worry.
It's a Manitoba number, but I have no idea.
Alex, you got that? Like Chongqing also is, you know, like a very good like place that for the filmmakers to choose their movies. We will recommend you some to watch afterwards, you know.
I've just got a couple more things now. Can I show your website? Are you okay with Miss X? Can I show your website where people can, maybe you can explain what it's all about? You have a link from your channel, right? On YouTube.
My site? Oh yeah.
Your website, yeah, the AvenueX.ca. Can I bring it up on the show to show?
I don't think it has anything that shouldn't be seen. So it should be fine.
Okay, just one sec.
It's just I'm not very good at managing it, but so it has some of my blogs, and then I have a shop that has stuff that I designed, and yeah, and that's pretty much.
So what are we looking at here now?
So yeah, these are just my drama related stuff.
These are
So
your
they're all
creations?
kind of Chinese drama related, sticker, bookmark, that type of stuff. Things that that are small and lightweight and
And easy
possible
to
for
post.
Canada Post to carry. Yeah. So anything that's in 3 dimension, no sort of size is impossible for me to sell.
Wow. Okay. Well, so we can, just for the viewers that, if you're ever interested in checking out her website, that can be viewed. I found that link directly from your YouTube channel. And while everyone's on this program right now, if you're from my channel, what you need to do is you need to stop, click on the subscribe button for AvenueX, and also click on the subscribe button for Chow at iChongqing. And if you enjoy a lot of Chinese cool things, cities and stuff like that, and you're from AvenueX's and Xiao's audience, click on my channel as well. I would appreciate that. I do read every single comment. That is for certain. And yes, thank you again for your contributions, Francisco Rivera. He's a very dedicated viewer that is also a very dedicated viewer to Guelo 60s channel as well. So a couple more questions if you have a few more minutes, then we'll wrap up the show soon. If you guys, I'm just going to put some comments up on the board. We'll go through them quickly. So Chongqing Hot Pot, a movie by Kun Chen. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that.
Yeah, sure.
VZ says we'll definitely check out One Everyone's Recom. Martial arts one I like is called The Four. I'm not sure if anybody's familiar with that. Somebody was asking, are these dubbed? So most of the ones on Netflix are dubbed and subtitled. Wow. Here's a question for you. Are Korean dramas very popular in China? I heard it was a big thing.
I think it still has quite a big audience, but it's like on and off. So for a period of time, it's super popular. But then because of certain things happening between the two countries, there was a period of intentionally kind of suppressing the Korean drama's popularity in China. But it's kind of like easing off now. But also just because within the last couple of years, Chinese drama has kind of like had a big explosion of stuff. So Korean dramas still have quite a big audience in China, and most of the famous sort of Korean drama stars are well known in China among young people.
Another question. Anyone watch Chinese drama Nirvana on Fire, one of the best Chinese political dramas?
Yeah, it's one of my fave too. So they if they're from my channel, they know.
There is Brotherhood of Blades about Chinese imperial guards during the Ming Dynasty. That as well.
Yes, that's Xiu Chun Dao.
Okay.
That's Xiu Chun Dao's translation.
Another question has come in. This is a request from Jazz. Ms. X, can you please do a video on Chongqing? Make some recommendations for us. That's pretty cool.
Do a video on Chongqing, make some recommendations for us. Yeah, it would be cool. The only thing is like because I'm not there, so I can't get first-hand footage if I want to.
Well, maybe Xiao can help us out with that.
Yeah, you need some help. Like I can do it.
The next one is, what is the next city you guys would want to live in? That question's for both of you.
Oh, for me? Not for you.
For the panel, everybody, yeah.
Next city you guys would want to live in? Well, there was a time that I really liked to at least live for a while in New York for the specific reason that I can go to all the museums and galleries that I need to, which I cannot complete on one tour. Honestly, there are just too many places. But now, definitely not this year, and probably not anytime soon, just because of 2020. Hey, so that's like permanently delayed now.
Xiao, for you?
Good question. Yeah, because I'm Well, if not Chongqing, okay. Currently here, I'm here and I feel comfortable. But if there's a time to switch between, that'd be cool. Sometimes life here, sometimes life there, it will be okay. So that one will be, I call it my second hometown. It's in Poland because I used to
Poland.
live, a few years there.
Cool.
So yeah, like 3 years
Poland.
there in a city. It's not very big city. It's not that well known like that. It's capital one there. So it's called Białystok, in quite east north.
Any Polish
Northeast
person here?
part. Yeah,
I think we do have some Polish viewers as well.
really.
So, wow, that's interesting that
It's quiet.
think-
It's very quiet place. Yeah, not many people, and everything is like just peaceful life. Like remind memories of that time.
some of the cities that really catch my eye is I took my mother to Prague in the Czech Republic, and if you see some of the architecture in
Prague.
that city,
Yeah, Prague is definitely a place you have to go to.
yeah,
I want
you
to.
just
It's
you
so
grab,
beautiful.
I brought my mom into we walked over the bridge, and I knew there was the tower, I should remember this name. I have 100 photos of it, but there's a clock, kind of like a clock tower, and she walked around the corner and she looked up and she grabbed her chest and said, "It's like something out of," and I said, "I understand, seeing something that beautiful, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years old, not destroyed, is amazing." And that is some of the things that when I go to China, and you guys might find this bizarre, but I am just in awe with the infrastructure when I fly over China, when I'm on a bullet train. I am just, the motorways, the infrastructure, it's like, how is this humanly possible that these things get built? And that, I'm just stuck with that all the time. So
Yeah, I think China's like high-speed rail is definitely something that's pretty insane, and it's just built for the purpose of future like development. So it's basically there's like a huge debt on the country to make that happen, but they're thinking because for the future decades to come, the stuff that the benefit it will bring in, but it's insane amount of money. I think it's recently I heard the number is 5,000 billion RMB.
yeah, it's
Debt.
pretty interesting.
About
Just
building
Chongqing,
high-speed rail.
just Chongqing spent, I think in 2013 to 2015, about $600 billion on infrastructure projects. But pretty impressive. The country of China has, I think last time I checked, 2,880 bullet trains throughout the country.
Yeah,
Pretty
I think
impressive.
the world's 70% or 75% of high-speed rail mileage is in China.
Here's a nice comment here. China has a history of great projects like the Great Wall of China and the Grand Canal, for example. Okay, so we'll do a couple more things here, and then we'll wrap it up. Xiao, do you have any more questions for our amazing, amazing guest today? I mean,
I have a lot.
I'm getting a lot. This is one of the most positive, because I don't know if sometimes you watch some of our shows on the weekends. We have a show on every Saturday called Let's Talk China. We're trying to keep up with that date, but everybody's busy this week again. Kurt is traveling, Barrett's are traveling, so we were trying to put a show together for tomorrow, but I don't think it's going to happen because everybody's been traveling. Things are getting busier. That's good, but this has been quite a treat to look in my comment section and just see nothing but positive energy.
With
It's been
I've seen
it's been so
I've
positive.
seen your streams previously. I know what level of bombardment you get.
Well, someone has to have a voice and give a voice, to these platforms. That's why we did start the Let's Talk China platform, is to give, China a voice on the Western media front, because it is pretty lopsided against us. So I got, as Ken says, I have two very lovely ladies on this program. Ciao. A couple of last questions for our amazing guest here today.
I will ask I think, Ms. X, I'm also journalist. I really want to do an interview with you. Is that possible afterward?
Yeah, we can talk about that like in private, like afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
email
yeah.
me like
Thank you
where
for
to
taking
come.
that. And yeah, so I want to ask when you will sometimes visit back Chongqing, right? Like when will be possibly next time come here?
Depends on what COVID thinks.
Okay. Usually it comes like for
It's
spring
like
festival
it's
or it's
entirely
not.
in the hand of coronavirus. Depends on when it's like a good, sensible time to travel. Also, just depends on what is going on here. Also, like everything, like basically, like it's a really bad idea to travel in the winter. Like
The
back
summer is not hot also, right?
so yeah. So maybe I don't know. Like depends on how this whole thing turns out for our planet Earth.
It's a lot of changes, of course, a lot of changes. And I have a last question is, so when you actually when you left to Chongqing, it's like your student time, right? Or it's like just
No,
not
no,
now.
no, no. My history is like much longer than that. but
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, like I would like to invite you next time if you come back or visit your family here. We
Your
can go
place? Yeah,
trip
that'll be
together,
cool.
explore, more areas. Like, do you think like there are already change happened, and there are some area you haven't discovered before? Yeah, like that.
Yeah, sure. And also just because I speak English doesn't mean like I basically talk to like people at home daily, right, on WeChat and stuff. And I like previously I pretty much go back home every year go back to China every year, but yeah, it wouldn't happen this year probably because of so we'll
Yeah,
see what happens in the future.
next one, right? Okay, well, that will be pleasure next now because we are also like doing the website and the YouTube iChongqing to promote Chongqing overseas
Sure,
and
I'll check out your channel too. Yeah, for
like
sure.
that.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Wonderful. Miss X, I don't know if you have any questions for me. If not,
Let me think. Good luck with your surgery that's coming up.
thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you for
hope your
that.
ear come back to normal. And you're a musician, so ear is very important.
Well, great. And
Sound is important.
I will definitely once again tell my subscribers to come check out your channel because it's so unique. Just by judging from the reaction of the comments, you've managed to get everybody really in synergy here, talking about and sharing all types of movies. I saw that, I saw this, I saw that drama, I saw that drama. So it's quite a bit excitement here. And the good thing about that is we will leave the comments up on my page for a while. You guys can really go back and forth and share your stories, and you're going to find out by all the latest dramas if you go to AvenueX's channel and subscribe. So Chow, thank you, Xiao, thank you very much, Xiao. It's very hard for me to pronounce it,
Really?
but
That
thank.
hard.
The
How am
X
I
is
doing?
very,
Pretty.
very,
Myself in
very
English, like
confusing
the
for
English
people who
can.
do not speak Chinese. Yeah.
Um, so I just want to say thank you once again, Miss X, for coming on this program.
Thank you for inviting me.
This has been a real treat. I wish you all the best for a good summer, and I hope that these borders will start to open soon. My last request to people is this is a difficult time on this planet. If you haven't talked to that friend in a long time, give them a call. A lot of people are going through difficult times. Even taking someone some groceries or a buddy or a mate, maybe a 6-pack of beer. Just sit back, get together, get to know that person. Now is the time. We have the technology at least to communicate with loved ones from around the world. And as I was saying to my mother, who's 75, the other day, let's have a Zoom chat. She says, I don't know what Zoom is. I said, well, now's the time to learn, and let's get all the family together and bring everybody closer while this world figures out these problems. I'm going to hand it over to you, Miss X. Maybe you have an outgoing message that you would like to say to your viewers or anyone that's watching you today.
Yeah. I know a lot of people come to my channel, especially this year, because a lot of them are locked at home. And, one of the things you can do is watch dramas and binge dramas. And then afterwards talk about dramas. So it's kind of, in a way, it's good for what I do on YouTube because more people are watching dramas and stuff. But I also understand so many people are very stressed out, and I'm very lucky in terms of like where I am, and I really haven't been hit really badly by this. But I know people out there have been. So I hope everyone, wherever you are, like the situation gets better soon. And it's very cliche to say stay positive, but what else can we do? That's the thing. Because if you live one day in a bad mood and in desperation, it's still 24 hours. If you choose to not live in that, then it's also 24 hours. So try our best to at least, if not happy or like super excited all the time, at least at peace and feel okay. So that's my wish for everyone who's watching this. And and remember that there's a lot of noise and hate going on in the world right now, but like you can choose not to listen to that. You can decide what you want for this world. And if you believe it, I think if you believe in it hard enough, then it will become your reality. So that is my message. Maybe I'm getting a little bit too.
Well, thank you very much for the positive words, and it really does mean a lot to me that I can have two amazing people on the panel with me today, where we have different cultures, but we can bridge the gap together with communities and cultures and understandings around the world. It really does mean a lot to me. Xiao, maybe you have an outgoing message that you want to tell everyone, and then we will wrap up the show after that. And thank you for coming on short notice.
Thank you. I'm just like totally agree with what you and Miss AvenueX has already concluded, that we are here actually will present very positive information, very positive knowledges, like to have people, to get to know more about the world, and we are like with a mind of like, like friendly with each other and be friend with each other, and that's it's quite magic to me. Like I get to know Alex wins, like you just come to Chongqing and just like accidentally text something, and we become friends, and we have some like join this show. And also like now I get to know Miss X, who is like really from Chongqing and doing such a really like meaningful things on YouTube, like have Chinese dramas, get to know more people. And also like our channel, we just like present like Chongqing, this wonderful city, and tell you why it is so charming. And you can see that when you check out our YouTube channel, iChongqing, like that. So just like be nice and be friendly and bear like the love and the positive energy. We are here to pass that energy, I think.
So thank you, everyone. Thank the panel. And once again, you can see in our descriptions, and we will put links out as well to subscribe to these channels, AvenueX and iChongqing, and of course Reporterfy Media. Thank you very much. And always difficult on the way out. If you want to contribute to AvenueX's channel, she also has left, you can rerun the video here later. She's left a QR code for Buy Me a Coffee, I believe that's what it is. And all these contributions, I can tell you from being a content creator, most of these, and if not all of these donations, go back into these channels. These channels take quite a bit of resources, time, energy, and some costs to it. So I understand as a creator that every donation that people make is greatly appreciated. And thank you very much again to all the viewers today. Just watch our videos as well, share them, like them. That's what helps us and keeps us going. So once again, from me and the entire panel, thank you very much for what a wonderful hour and a half with two amazing people. Thank you. And Xi from me and ladies.
Okay, so I'll sign off. And actually have no idea how to do that, but
I'll end the broadcast and I'll keep you backstage and we'll have a chat. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Okay.
Take care.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.